The Protoss and Terran have a new race to worry about. Say hello to the Xayid, the biological-themed race featured in the Custom Scion Races mod. Although this bio race is reminiscent of the Zerg, the first thing you'll notice is that no creep is required for production. Instead, in typical Terran fashion, all you have to do is simply select your worker, the scavenger in this case, choose a building and place it anywhere your heart desires. Also, similar to the Terran, rather than sacrificing a worker to create buildings, the scavenger, just like an SCV, will work on the structure until it is finished. Now, unlike the Zerg, supply for the Xayid comes not from any Overlord equivalent. Instead, it comes from a supply depot equivalent called the Feeding Pool, a multi-purpose supply and healing structure. It's important to note that Xayid units do not heal on their own. Instead, they rely on the Feeding Pool, which can heal up to 3 nearby units, or they can use the Mendling, a unit that not only heals its allies using the Mend ability for 20 health, but also has the option to cloak other units using their Covering Spray ability. The Mendling isn't limited to healing though. This multi-purpose monster can attack air and ground units. This gives the Mendling versatile utility on the battlefield, providing both healing and damage support to the Xayid army, and adds unique mechanics not seen in vanilla StarCraft 2. Regarding detection, the Xayid have several tools at their disposal. The first is the Bile Pit, an anti-ground and anti-air static defense structure. It's worth keeping in mind that this is the only Xayid structure that needs to be placed near finished Xayid buildings. If you're thinking about doing a cannon rush type play, be sure to build a feeding pool first. The second detection unit on this list is the Farian. This is the only flying Xayid unit that does not come out of the avian nest. Paired with its ability to detect, the Farian can also transport and even make use of the Mendling's Covering Spray to cloak itself just before it drops into an enemy base. This adds an entirely new take on harassment and drop strategies. The last on this list is the Xayithone. This bat-like spellcaster provides not only detection for the Xayid army, but an array of spellcasting abilities. The first being Adaptive Injection, which increases attack speed and range for friendly units or reduces them for enemy units. The second ability in the Xayithone's toolkit is Protective Cloud, which reduces incoming damage to all friendly units within its radius by 30%. Finally, the Xayithone can also spawn a Watcher, which can help the Xayid player scout or spot the opponent's army. Also, unlike the Zerg, army production does not come from their mining structure. Instead, the Xayid come with 3 unit-producing buildings, each hosting their own set of larvae. The first building is the Xayid Den. This structure produces a larva called the Worm, which primarily mutates into Tier 1 units, including, but not limited to, the Xayidling, a Tier 1 unit that shoots both up and down, the Roamer, an anti-light fighter, and the previously mentioned Mendling. The second production building on our list is the Avian Nest, which hosts a larva called the Wasp. As its name suggests, the Avian Nest larvae mutate into Xayid air units and supply the Xayid with a host of harassment units such as the Raptor, or heavy-hitting units such as the Kraken, a massive capital flyer unit for the Xayid race. Finally, we have the Biomass Hatchery hosting the Grub larva. The Grub mutates into Tier 2 and Tier 3 units, including the Incredible Massilisk, a terrifying Xayid monster with a short-range ground attack and the option to go anti-air with the Hunker ability, which allows it to siege by burrowing in place and attacking air units from a distance. Despite having a similar aesthetic to the Zerg, the Xayid bring a mix of freshness and familiarity with their alternate take on the larva mechanic and biological theme. You can play the Custom Scion Races mod today within the StarCraft 2 game. The link on how to access it will be in the description below. Have fun out there and get ready to take over the galaxy with the Xayid.